Welcome to Ask GCN Anything.
This week we answer your questions on how to get into cycling, renting a bike when on a cycling holiday, and do the pro road riders hit the gym?
Oh, interesting questions that will be answered in just a second. But before we do, we need to tell you how to get involved in next week's show. And to do so, use the hashtag AskGCN Training and you'll be in with a chance of winning 3 3-month subscription from Zwift. And to answer all your other questions, then use the hashtag torqueback. Right, Chris, I reckon we should get started. And the first question comes in from Pa Wangberg. Which are your best tips for getting started with cycling? Interesting question. Chris, how did you actually get into cycling in the first place?
So it kind of came about after watching the Tour de France and feeling inspired by that. We went to the bike shop, picked up a little bit of information there about local cycling clubs and things like that. Joined the local cycling club, so you go on like the club runs on the weekend and you learn from the older, more experienced riders, and then maybe you start racing or you kind of find the part of the sport that really appeals to you. But the best way to do it is to find advice from older riders that have been there and done it themselves.
Yeah, that's an interesting one because I also got into cycling through another sport, mountaineering, but to get into it properly, I just signed up with the club and went out on Sunday rides and then just got into it that way.
Yeah, it's a great free way, really, of gaining experience from others, and most people will be really encouraging and help you along the way.
But here's one for you, Chris. If you had a tip to give your younger self and when you were getting into cycling, what would that tip be?
It would definitely be to focus on the fun side of it and how much you want to enjoy it, because no matter how good you are at something, unless you really love it and enjoy it, you're just wasting your time.
Yeah, I would second that 100%. So I hope that helps your question. And yeah, good luck with your cycling. I reckon actually we've got a video on how to get into cycling that's playing on just behind us.
Cycling in the UK is arguably more popular than it ever has been, and many of you are looking to take your riding to that next level. Hopefully you will have gained skills and knowledge through riding with your local club or an experienced group, and you feel ready to start racing. And whilst it might seem fairly daunting competing in your first event, it really needn't be.
Next in is this one from Abhilash Herakal. I'm really sorry for the pronunciation on that one.
I thought you did good.
Well, we'll find out in the comments, won't we? Do pro road cyclists, not track cyclists, hit the gym to do leg workouts, and how useful is it?
Well, that's an interesting one. The science isn't really that clear cut as to how it helps road pro cyclists, but a lot of pros do it. I did it in the winter, but to be honest, I focused the bulk and main bit of the training on riding my bike. And if I wanted to do a hard session or a weight session, I'd more likely go into like a strength session on the bike.
Yeah.
But I'd also do a few days in the gym, but that would be mainly core sessions and stability work and work on that kind of thing. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I think you're right. Focusing on your stability and functional strength
and
flexibility is going to be more beneficial to you for being a bike rider than actually focusing purely on leg strength, because as we said before, the benefits aren't that defined.
But did you do a lot of big weight sessions to get quads like John Travolta?
Never did one in my life. Can honestly say that.
And if you did want to check more out about going in the gym, then check out Emma's workout and she'll talk through the details about core sessions.
This is a variation on a bridge with the added difficulty that your feet are on the ball. And you want to try and hold it for a minute, really engaging your core and lower back and keeping your bum low.
Right, the next question comes in from Shakin Wakin 35, love the name. I'm new to cycling as of 2 months ago, and I'm learning a ton from the channel. Well, I'm glad you're enjoying all the content we're putting out. I'm also new to spin classes at my local gym, not a dedicated cycling gym though. Some instructors will have 3 to 5 minute blocks throughout the class where we go up hills at 40 to 60 RPM. Is that dangerously low cadence, or is it worthwhile? Should I stay above a minimum cadence in those classes?
Well, Shakin Wakin, you know what? That is definitely not a dangerously low cadence. And in fact, force work like that will really help to build up the maximum torque that you can put out into the pedals.
Torque's a good thing.
Torque is a good thing because it's the muscle force, and it's a widely recognised training session, and a lot of pro riders will find themselves doing it as well throughout the winter. We've both done it throughout our careers, and Si and Dan definitely did it as well. And in fact, we have a training session behind us that will be really beneficial to you if you're not getting enough from the spin school.
Yeah, so jump on this. It's an indoor training workout and you can just follow along in real time. So yeah, try that one out.
The low cadence work at about 60, 70 RPM is going to be harder than the high cadence work.
And the winner of this week's Ask GCN training question, with 3-month subscription from Zwift coming right your way, is
Mark Redfern. Congratulations to you.
Congratulations.
And here the question is, I have just come off an intensive 12-week training plan and I don't know where to go next. I want to carry on increasing my power and endurance, but I don't want to lose the fitness that I've gained. Maybe I should take a couple of weeks off, or should I just do an FTP test and crack on with it?
Yeah, well, first off, well done for completing your 12-week intense training program. It's never easy to really stick by it for 12 weeks. And as always, we send your question to Zwift and they came back with an answer for you. So here it goes. They firstly don't really know where your FTP is at the moment, but you've definitely made some gains on that. So we would suggest for the next session or the next block of training, you would maybe taper it back on the intense sessions. What do you think?
Yeah, so for the first couple of weeks, maybe 2 to 3 weeks, you want to rein in how often you're doing those intense sessions. So bring that down to 1 to 2 intense interval sessions per week, because then that'll help you freshen up a little bit.
Yeah.
In which point you'll be able to test your FTP then.
Yeah, so then test your FTP and find out where your benchmark is. And then looking at the structure of your next block, we would suggest, and Zwift would suggest also, is that you look at your weaknesses and your strength and then hone in on those weaknesses. So for example, if you've been working on your FTP and you've got good FTP, why don't you work on your VO2 max? So structure your next couple of weeks of training on your VO2 max or strength sessions.
Yeah, and you want to spend 4 to 6 weeks focusing on those before you kind of look at it again and reassess where you are.
Yeah, and so good luck with that next block of training, and do let us know how you get on in the comment section below. Next question from Chris Osland. What is the best time of day to weight train when you plan to also ride the same day? Couple them together in the same workout or try and do a double workout day. One being cycling and then the other strictly weight training. What do you reckon, Chris?
Well, there are 2 pretty clear schools of thought here, and pointing out the obvious, one is before training and one is after cycle training. So if you were to do your weight training before you got on the bike, it'd be great because you'd be fresh when you're doing the weight training, but you will always end up riding your bike on tired legs. And ultimately, this will mean that you're not producing the power numbers or, hitting the same intensities that you were before. So in fact, you'll be reducing your cycling performance, which is why most pros will then do the weight training after their on-bike training.
Yes, and I would second that. I would 100% go out and do a first couple of hours on the bike and then have a good lunch, have a protein shake or recovery drink.
Good break in between.
Yeah, and then go into a 45 to an hour minute, strength session.
Yeah, and as we mentioned before, you want to keep that kind of varied so that it's functional. It's not, just building muscles for the sake of it.
Yeah. Right. Without further ado, it's the quick fire round.
Do you love these?
Right. The first question comes in from Paul Abercrombie.
Do you have any tips and warnings for cyclists who can't take their own bikes while traveling, but they want to rent one?
Right, interesting question. I've never rented a bike before, but it is actually a really good way of traveling because it means that you don't have to worry about bagging your bike up, putting it in a box, getting it stowed away. You can arrive there, get to the hire place, find the right size bike. That's key. So if you ride a 54 centimeter frame, then make sure you look for a 54 centimeter frame when you get there, and then just try and get it set up as closely as your normal bike as possible. But I would say a big tip is to bring your own pedals.
Yeah, that's a good point, that. And also check the brakes the right way around. Yeah,
check the brakes the right way around and bring your own pedals. So say if you're riding look pedals or speed play, then make sure you bring those along and then they can just put them on and it should feel as close to your bike as before.
I had a little look online earlier as well for the prices on bike rent and bike hire on trips, and it's not cheap. It's not quite as cheap as hiring a car, but then you do get to ride a pretty cool bike for a week. So
yeah, I guess that's another point, isn't it? Like you can ride a bike you might want to try or might want to buy in the future.
Yep.
Right, quick, we have to be quick, mate.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. The next question from PF. I just bought Fenders, UK translation, Mudguards, for winter riding. Why are they so beep expensive?
We just don't know, Pete. But have you ever tried building your own? I imagine there's a reason behind it. They probably aren't that easy to build.
No, I think they are quite difficult to build.
Yeah. Kinerov Kodilakar?
Good
maybe?
one. Yeah, good one.
A warm hello to the GCN team. My question to you, is it better to work on FTP only on an FTP building specific plan, or would other plans, say like a time trial specific plan, be equally beneficial, since both plans put a rider at a better position than before. You know what? I would just go and choose the one that you prefer the look of, but doing time trial training to increase your FTP is definitely going to work.
100%. It's pretty much the same workout, isn't it?
Yeah, and FTP training will benefit your time trialing. So, win-win.
Best of both worlds, really. Next question comes in from Tom Garner. I only get out on my bike for an hour or two a week due to rugby over winter. What's the best training to do in the short 1 or 2 sessions I get a week? I'm doing the London to Paris, fantastic. Bike ride next year, so increasing my FTP is ideal.
Yep.
What do we think, Chris?
Well, I reckon a good hard interval session will really suit you. Something with long intervals to help increase your FTP that we just talked about. And then, 10 to 12 minute efforts would be ideal for that.
Yeah, we've said that quite a lot on this specific show about interval training and making it really time efficient, because the harder you go, the more you're really going to get out of the training in the next coming weeks or days, etc. Yep. So yeah, 45-minute session can be really hard, and you can get a lot out of it by structuring it well and getting interval training.
Enjoy the rugby.
Yeah, do.
Callum, I have a recovery question. I find that after particularly tough indoor Zwift sessions, my muscles are more sore than usual. Are there self-massage techniques to assist recovery, just like the pros get massaged after stages? And can you simply do that yourself? Secondly, what are your thoughts regarding cold showers or contrast showers to speed recovery?
Interesting one. Recovery is key to any cyclist, and getting the most amount of recovery is also key. But then massage and actively trying to recover is also really important.
Yeah.
A lot of pros end up taking a foam roller or a tennis ball, etc., really. You can use pretty much whatever to really roll out your legs, so you don't have to have a soigneur or masseuse there to massage your legs. So you can actually get the same benefit from just using a foam roller.
Yeah, definitely. And hot and cold showers, like you mentioned, they really work well as well.
Have you actually used them? I used them at the start of my career. I did some ice bath during actually my first junior Tour of Ireland, and it did work. But then I just went and used massage.
Yeah, massage is more enjoyable, but hot and cold showers, they definitely help you feel better.
Oh, interesting. Unfortunately, we've come to the end of this week's Ask GC Anything. I mean, I have to say, Chris, I'm pretty happy with how fast we did that quick fire round.
7 out of 10, I reckon.
Yeah, and just remember, if you want to get your questions in for next week, then use the hashtag talkback. And if you want to be in with a chance of winning 3 free-month subscription from Zwift, then to use the hashtag AskGCN Training.
Nice. That's not it though. We have some epic deals up on the shop. So 10% off selected kit bundles and a free hat. You also get 3 for 2 on fan kit socks.
Yes, and that's not all. You also can get your hands on these new espresso mugs and saucers with the very nice
saucy
GCN glow. But it's not only that, I know, we're going crazy. We've also gone and got GCN's own coffee blend.
Available in grind or beans.
Oh mate, that smells so good.
Yes, so aromatic.
Make sure you head over to the shop and to get your hands on these. But if you want to watch some more GCN action, then to go on and see John Cannings at the Saitama Crit